everyone, welcome back to another video. This week I am going back to my YouTube roots and we are going to be discussing books. As I mentioned in my previous video, this year has been a very odd reading year for me in the sense that I have not found a book that I am passionate about yet, which I feel like is very strange for me. It's not like I haven't read good books. There are books that I have given 5 stars to. I just haven't found the book that is going to become my favorite book of the year. But let's talk numbers. So my reading goal for 2022 is to read 75 books, which is the same goal that I set for myself last year. Personally, I think that 75 is a really comfortable, really realistic number for my reading habits. It's not an impossible number for me to reach, but I also can't slack off on my reading. And I am proud to say that as of June 15th, I have read 45 books this year, so I think I'm well on track to reach my goal. And now I just want to share some of the books that I have been reading. I'm kind of all over the place. I haven't been sticking to a specific genre or reading age. Like, I'm really all over the place. The first book I read this year was Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now I am a little hazy on the details because I did read this back in January, but we have a struggling writer, Lowen, who is given the chance to ghostwrite for a best-selling author, Verity. While looking through Verity's drafts, she finds a manuscript that reads a lot like a sinister confession, and it just kind of takes a life of its own from there. I do remember a lot of people were hyping up this book at that time, and I am happy to say that for me, it did not disappoint. I gave this book a 4 stars and managed to finish it in 2 days. There was so much I did not see coming, and the final twist at the end, very well done. The latest book I have finished is The Disappearing Act by Catherine Steadman. Mia is a successful actress from London trying to land the job that will make her career in Hollywood. While at an audition, Mia meets Emily, another struggling actress, and a simple favor ends up with Mia in possession of Emily's keys and just one wallet. Mia waits for Emily to finish her audition to return them, but Emily never walks out. In fact, it doesn't seem like she ever walked into the audition room. Poof, disappeared into thin air. After a few days of searching, Emily does show up to pick up her keys and wallet, but the person standing in Mia's apartment is not Emily. It is not the girl she met at the audition. So why is this person pretending to be her? I gave this book a 3.5 stars officially, but I am really leaning towards 4 stars now. I was super into it and was able to finish it in a day and a half because I could not stop reading it. The main character, Mia, could be a bit much, like kind of extra, I don't know. But I was so into the mystery that I am able to overlook that, so might change my official rating to a 4 stars. We'll see. As you can see, I have not had a bad reading year. It's not like I've read terrible books. I have read 6 5-star reads so far, given 2 of them were part of series that I already really love. This is where I struggle with myself. How can I give these books 5 stars but not have a single favorite among them? Normally, I do work under the guideline for me that I think 5 stars should only be given to books that absolutely blow me away. I mean, entrance me. I can't stop thinking about them. You know, that feeling when you know you found the book. I have always told myself that that is the only way I could give a book 5 stars. But I think that's what's so strange about this year is that I cannot find any fault with the books that I did rate 5 stars, but I just don't feel wholly, totally passionate about them, but I also feel unfair giving them only 4 stars because I don't feel a certain way. I feel like giving it a 4 stars wouldn't accurately convey the way that I feel about these books, so I don't want to give them a 4 stars. They are 5-star reads. There's that spark missing. Like I said, it hasn't been a terrible reading year, but I have had some disappointments, and I'm going to mention 2 of them that really bummed me out. And those books are When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis and Spellhacker by M.K. England. When Night Breaks is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend, which I absolutely loved. I'm pretty sure it was mentioned in my favorites of whatever year that was. I really enjoyed Where Dreams Descend. The sequel, however, was not it. The sequel, however, just seemed to have lost some of its spark, some of the allure that the first book had. It definitely was not the same vibes, and it caused me to really struggle through the book. So close that I thought I was going to have to DNF it at one point. Like, I really had to push myself to finish the book. I will say, I think I hyped it up for myself so much that when it didn't live up to my expectations, it was kind of like a hard crash landing, which is why I gave it the 2 stars. I mean, I do think 2 stars might be a bit harsh, but I have zero intention of rereading the second book, and I am actually trying to get rid of my duology. Spell Hacker is another one that fell prey to my hype and ideas of what I thought it was going to be. This is a standalone sci-fi with a bit of fantasy mixed in there, YA, and this is the author's sophomore novel. Now, their debut novel, The Disasters, 5 stars, was my favorite book of, I think it was 2019. The Disasters was the book that made me reconsider sci-fi. Before reading The Disasters, I had written off sci-fi. I thought sci-fi was not my genre. If you remember at the beginning of my booktube journey, I mentioned how much I did not like sci-fis, and The Disasters was the book that completely changed my mind. I think The Disasters had a really good plot and really good characters, and Spell Hacker, I didn't love the characters to start with. I just didn't feel that connection that I did with the characters from The Disasters, but also the plot, it sounded interesting in the synopsis, but then I think it wasn't executed very well. I didn't like it, and it was very disappointing. On the other side of the spectrum, I do have a book that surprised me in a really good way. Since I started booktube, I have seen Caraval by Stephanie Garber floating around, but what I saw was very mixed reviews. I feel like people either really enjoyed it or really did not. I was very conflicted about it. I couldn't get a handle on whether or not it was a good book, but after seeing some reviews on Goodreads from people that I trusted, that I thought we had similar reading tastes, I decided that I was not going to read that book. Never. I had many opportunities to buy the book. I think my now husband offered many times to buy it for me because he really liked the cover. I would get a little flicker of like, will I? Should I? And then I would go back on Goodreads and read the reviews from the people that I trusted and be like, no, I'm gonna hate it. Why would I put myself through that when I know I'm gonna hate this book? A flash forward, and Stephanie Garber actually released a new book, A Once Upon a Broken Heart. I bought this one during the Barnes & Noble 50% off hardback sale, and I didn't even clock the author's name when I bought the book. I just thought the cover was interesting, and when I read the synopsis, I thought, I'll give this a shot. But when I checked on Goodreads, I actually saw that her new book takes place in the same world as Caraval, and that some characters from Caraval would be making an appearance in this new series. Not gonna lie, some of my excitement kind of deflated because in my head, Caraval was a terrible, terrible book. But then I also did read that you didn't have to read Caraval to read Broken Heart. So I thought that maybe it would be a different kind of story than Caraval, so I decided to go ahead and read it anyways, and I gave it a 4 stars. Really, really enjoyed it. That book came quite close to giving me that spark that I look for, and I'm really bummed that we have to wait until September for book 2. So after wrapping up Broken Heart, I decided, why the heck not read Caraval? If I hate it, I can say that I've done it. It's out of the way. I don't have to walk by the book and have that little flicker of doubt in my head of, should I pick it up? Should I read it? Should I not? I did it. I got it out of the way. I gave Caraval 4 stars. And then I immediately tried to check out book 2 through my library, only to find there was already a line for it. So now I have to wait. This book, I have spent years saying I was going to hate. Suffice to say, moral of the story, if there is a book out there that you're kind of on the fence about, don't know whether or not to read it, just read it. Check it out through your library if you're able to, and no money is lost. You get to read it. If you hate it, well, at least now you know. That's been my update on how my 2022 reading year has been going so far. Like I said, it's been an odd one. I've really been opening myself up to different genres. I try to not say no to any book that I see. I think maybe that's part of the problem, why I can't find a book that I'm passionate about, but at the same time, I'm glad that I'm opening myself up to different authors. And we still have 6 months. Maybe next month I will find the book of the year, and you know I'm going to let you know. Leave a comment down below and let me know how your 2022 reading year has been going, and also if you have any recommendations of books you think I absolutely need to read, let me know because I am always open to suggestions. And feel free to follow me on Twitter if you would like to discuss books more in depth. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm gonna get back to reading, and I'll see you in next time's video.